As I talked about in my previous video, that the federal government spending program is not really helping to cut down the inflation. And we look at the overall picture where the Bank of Canada is trying to tighten the monetary policy with the hopes that it will bring down inflation. But at the same time, we have federal government as well as our provincial governments still spending money that will directly or indirectly drive the inflation. Some of the spending comes from still that COVID-19 stimulus program, even though it expires, but the people, that the household that got the money from that program are still spending in the economy. Plus all these subsidies like green subsidies, climate action incentive, as well as one-time rental support, all of those incentives those governments are producing directly into the household's pocket, this is going to be inflationary as well. So when we look at the Bank of Canada is trying to do their job to cut down, bring the inflation target down, and at the same time they are seeing government spending money, they are counterproductive. Now the question is why they are not on the same page. It could be the incompetence, or it could be an agenda behind that. Who knows? I cannot speculate that, but that both of these entities, Bank of Canada and the Finance Ministry, they work hand in hand. They review their policies together, they make decisions together. Even at the policy meeting last week, Chrystia Freeland was also sitting with Tiff Macklem to address questions from the Canadian media groups. So they work in full unison. Like there should be no doubt that Bank of Canada is completely independent. Yes, it is called independent organization from political pressure, but I can assure you that the Ministry of Finance work hand in hand with them when it comes to projecting the spending in terms of economic growth and how we can make decisions on the policies together. Now when we look at these news articles, it drives me crazy when they say they get caught off guard or they were surprised by the inflation. I mean, a high school grader can tell you that when you print billions of dollars out of thin air and hand out that money to households, and you shut down the entire economy and let people spend money with the limited amount of goods and services available in the market, what's going to happen? It's going to drive the inflation up. Plus, when you drop the interest rate down to bottom and let people borrow money like crazy, what's going to happen? It is going to bring asset prices up, house prices, car prices, all of that mess that we are seeing right now. It is created by the governments and the banks all together. Like there is no third party who should be blamed for all this mess. They can put the blame on Putin and the war and all that stuff, but the truth is these are all empty words trying to basically divert our attention, because they think that the Canadians do not have intellect. Like I get so upset when I see these news articles from the mainstream media saying they get caught off guard or they were surprised by the inflation or the uptick in the economic data. This drives me crazy. Like this is not rocket science, guys. You can easily predict by looking at their actions rather than reading about their actions in the mainstream media. Well, it's interesting that we see the inflation is going to be sticky, okay? And we are seeing there's some narrative coming out from financial media saying that 2% may be not an achievable target, so we may have to move our target up to 3%. That's what they're thinking about it. And interestingly, tomorrow we will see the CPI data came out from the US, which will predict Federal Reserve's next action. And the expectation in the market is the inflation is going to be 4% annualized and 0.1% on monthly increase, which will likely put Federal Reserve to take a pause in the rate hike program. So that's the expectation in the market. Typically, Federal Reserve avoid upsetting the market. The expectation is this is going to happen, but we'll see tomorrow what's going to come out. And if the inflation comes out as it is expected, then most likely Federal Reserve will skip the rate hike and then take a pause. What's going to happen in Canada, I think the Canadian economists and banks, they are fully pricing in another rate hike in July, and who knows what's going to happen after that, because they're not talking about pausing it at this stage, let alone the rate cuts further down the road, because a lot of people were expecting that the rate cuts will come later this year. But I don't think this is the situation right now as per last week action we saw from Bank of Canada. So anyway, this is what's I'm observing right now. But rest assured, you will get all the behind the scene insights from this channel. So if you haven't subscribed, please do so. Like the channel and share this video with your friends and family, because this is how I get the motivation. So until my next video, take care.